Okay, okay. As always, checking to see if this stuff works. I've ran into a problem that I'm going to have to solve relatively soon. My computer originally had 4 USB plugs, and the one of them broke. I'm not going to reveal any names or throw shade at anybody, but one of my USB plugs broke, and so now I've got to figure out what the heck I'm going to do because one of the plugs is for the mic, one of the plugs is for the webcam, and one of the plugs is for my mouse. So I'm going to have to get a USB hub in order to plug more things in. Camp John, hi NFA, looking forward to learning about some West Marches play. Absolutely, I will be going over that very shortly. I will be talking all about that. I'll be updating everything in the Discord. I've already inputted some of the stuff in the Discord in regards of how you make characters and classes, session structure, the 10 guilds you can join, guild advancement system. So I'll be going over how all that's going to be working in a moment. Because this week I'll start getting people creating characters and joining the game. It'll be a great time. Speaking of, I've got a whole bunch of things prepared for that because this West Marches is going to be a fun one. It is truly going to be a group effort, a group collaborative. You know, the whole gang is working toward the goal of escaping and surviving in this dungeon, so there's going to be that fun aspect. I've ran some more aimless West Marches style games before, and those are all well and fine, but ultimately they are a bit more aimless when there is a true group cohesive goal of, you know, go to point B, start at point A, go to point B, or if it's, collect the 10 keys, if it's something that's a group, effort, then it really, really helps out. Um, LMNO. Overboard, hello, hello, how is it going? Setting up a few things, complaining about how horrible my life is. I've got next to the worst life in human existence ever made of all time, ever, but I don't have the worst life. So I've got that going on for me. I've got that going on. So feel free to voice your things as I'm getting some things set up here. Once again, lamenting over the fact that one of my USB hubs is busted, so I'm gonna have to get some sort of USB hub thing in order to get people in, or to have more things plugged in, because that would suck if I couldn't. Like, I actually don't know, like, what on a computer, what is the common amount of USB plugs? And not on a laptop, because it's like, on a laptop it's like maybe one or two, but on an actual computer, how many USB plugs are there typically? I am genuinely curious. Because I think 4 sounds pretty standard. I have not built a computer in a long, long time. Uh, I probably should look into that, though. I just had a major brake leak in my truck. Unfortunately, got it fixed today. Oof, that does suck. You kind of need those brakes, surprisingly. You kind of need them. Damn, a replacement USB hub thing in this economy? Actually, I haven't even looked. I'm going to go on Amazon right now to see. USB hub. USB hub, 4 USB splitter, USB adapter mini port, expander. Let me see here. Only like $10. Only like $10, I think. If I'm looking at it right. Yeah, it's only like $10. Okay. I'm not hurting here. I have 9+3 Type-C plugs. Huh. Hi, how are you? I'm doing fan-frickin-tastic, Luke. I am doing fan-frickin-tastic. Just talking over some things. My computer took a little bit of a hit, but thankfully it looks like USB hubs aren't terrible. I can get one and for $12 here, so adding that to the Carterino. Good stuff. Good stuff. In a little bit, I'm going to be going over the West Marches stuff. Going to get people started up creating their characters and whatnot, and being just going over what is the expectancy of the game and all that fun jazz. Player size, names, perfect. Text chat. Dice. I'm getting a Nintendo Wii, my childhood console, to get Mario Wii mod. Heck yeah. Honestly, like, it sucks because I grew up with the GameCube, or I grew up with the 64, but I eventually, got a GameCube. And it sucked because my GameCube, I had it for so long, and eventually it stopped working. So I had to get a Wii, but thankfully the Wii, had that beautiful backwards compatibility. So I can still play all my GameCube games, and there's a lot of slappers on the Wii. Like, between the GameCube and the Wii, I'd have to genuinely look between how many fan-frickin-tastic games there are between those two systems that are, compatible on that one system. It's just ridiculously incredible. It is genuinely incredible. Yeah, you're back. I am back, Craig. Craig, how's it going? How is it hanging? I am going to be going over some West Marches stuff pretty soon here. I'm going to be running some public games for the masses at the low cost of free. I am not going to be charging y'all. I'm not that cool enough yet. If I was like Matt Mercer level, then I'd definitely be charging some sweet cash, and I know people would be paying hand over fist. But I am not famous enough to get that endeavor. Not just yet. I have ran paid games before, but not for the masses, as it were. Let me set things up here. You guys are children. I was 12 when I got an NES. My first console was oh my gosh, a ColecoVision. Let's go. I still have it, and one of my kids has hooked it up to the whole TVs and play it. That actually ran into that problem where I had an N64 and I got a new TV, and I was like, oh wait a second, I can't plug this thing in here. There's no red, white, yellow plugs. So I had to get a thing that was specialized to do that. That's too expensive for LOL. You'll get to that level of fame, man. I believe in you. You'll definitely, little infant. I'm definitely a little infant, man. No, thank you for the fame, BT Dubs. But I have a Benjamin Button disease. You're going backwards, huh? I started with a 2600. Let's go. Let's go. Some great stuff. I'm genuinely trying to remember what I got first. I can't remember if it was a N64 or if it was a Game Boy. I'm trying to remember the chronology there. I'll look that up right now. What's the N64 release date? N64 came out June 23rd, 1996. Well, in Japan. In North America, it came out in September 29th, 1996. Good to know. And then it didn't come until March 1st for Europe and Australia. Man, you Europeaners had to suffer for like 6 months. September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, 7-8 months, golly. I had a Coleco adapter that lets it run 2600 cartridges. Heck yeah. Alrighty, Game Boy Color. Because I did not have an original Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Color. So the Game Boy Color came out in 1998. So I would have had an N64 before I had a Game Boy Color. Interesting. And I was one of the cool kids. I had the transparent, see-through purplish and the what do you call those things? Controller or Game Boy Color. But man, that's making me want to bust it out right now. I've got it right there in front of me. I could be playing some good old Mario Kart 64. I could be playing some Mario Party 1, 2, or 3. Good stuff. You know, back in my day, when they released a game, you didn't have to worry about getting patches or worry about DLC or nothing. When that game came out, the game came out. Back in my day, a game had to be good enough to launch. That being said, obviously a lot of games came out and had a whole bunch of horrible bugs or glitches or whatever, but, you know, the company had to deal with it. You released a game knowing that you couldn't fix it. Which is definitely a weird mentality to think about when it comes to modern media. Like, a perfect example being, there was a Star Wars show, and both Star Wars and Game of Thrones had this problem where post releasing the video or the episode, there was something in the background. Like in one of the Game of Thrones ones, it was one of the queen had like a Starbucks cup on the table, and everyone missed it. You know, when the video came out. And then for Star Wars, there was like a background like sound guy in the episode, and they totally left it in. So, you know, but then eventually they patched those things out. It's funny how you can release media and not have to worry about the ramifications of you know, like not being able or being stuck with it forever and all the time. It's funny how that works. Perfect. Game Boy Color was a great upgrade for the original. I bought a refurbished Game Boy Color for my son for his birthday last year. Oh yeah, you can see the guy's leg in the background in the Mando episode. Oh, rest in peace, Carl Urban. That's the one. But man, looking at the consoles, like sometimes there's clear upgrades and sometimes there isn't. Like, you know, it's painfully obvious. Like going, for example, like from the PS3 to the PS4, not really much going on. Going from, you know, I'm trying to think of like some major ones where it really didn't matter all that much. I don't see too much like increase in performance or anything between the 360 and the Xbox One. So maybe that's like more of a modern issue. Hello, how's it going, Upper? How's it going? I had the Mattel handheld football game. Oh, that's dope right there. I wasn't here for yesterday, but I wish you a good night now. Good night, Upper. Oh yeah, Battle Football was the bomb. Oh my gosh, those classic football games, and you know, I'm trying to think of the the Coleco football and the Mutant League, like dumb old games like those things. Just absolutely incredible, just absolutely phenomenal. Alrighty, so I could literally gush about nostalgia all day long, which I am inevitably going to be doing so because now I'm on this nostalgia train of thinking back. Also, sad fact about Game Boy Color games, looking at specifically like Pokemons and things like that. For those of you that don't know, if you had your Pokemon Red or Blues, there's a good chance that those batteries are dead. Game Boy Color games had a internal battery within them, and they would last like 20 some odd years. So there is a good chance that your old save files are maybe dead. Let me double check that though. Pokemon Red, Blue battery. I remember reading something about that a little while ago. NES Hockey was one of my favorite games. The one with the skinny player, regular player, and fat player. Oh my gosh, those hockey games are brutal too. I like it's funny because when you play those hockey games, you're supposed to be playing hockey, but like half the when you're kids, you spend the whole time checking people, or you just get into the fist fights the whole time. It's great. Lifespan. They yeah. So those batteries that were tied to like the Pokemon Reds and Blues and things of that nature. Those were had a life expectancy of 15 to 20 years. So there is a good chance that if you bought Pokemon Red or Blue back in the year 1999 or whatever, then say goodbye. Are you winning? I am winning, Pone. I'm winning on life. How's it going, Pone? You can replace those batteries in the cartridge. I replaced the Pokemon Blue battery for my son a few months ago. Heck yeah. Yeah, I saw. Did it need like a soldering iron or anything? Like, did it actually need like specific tools? Because there's a lot of human beings I would not trust a soldering iron with. A lot of people. Alrighty. Setting up some things. Setting up some things. I need to grab something from another thing here. But yes, I will be starting up the West Marches game pretty soon here. I've got to make the game for it, and then I will start doing all that. Roll 20. The game will be hosted on Roll20. All the roles will be public and open, and all that fun jazz. And it'll just be a repository for all of the things. One of the big things I want to express in this game, though, is that player agency in regards of I highly, highly encourage all of you to make your own maps, because I'm not providing a map. This underground will be explored by the players, and you guys will be the ones sharing the deets. And you can say, oh yeah, last time we went north and we found a cave. You can say that verbally to everyone, or you can draw a map of it yourself. And I want a whole bunch of people to be like drawing up these maps and combine them all, because I think that'd be really cool. The batteries are inexpensive as well. That's good. That's good to hear. Rolling for stats. Here we go. So one of the things is listen here, Pone. Listen. I could sit here and meticulously craft a game and have it be just for everyone to, show up. I'm monkey brain getting math. That's the best part, Pone. If you're monkey brain, you let someone else do it. You focus on the important things like smashing the opponents and getting the gold and all that fun jazz. That's the point. Rollable tables. Here we go. Oh no, I need macros. That's what I need. Rolling for stats. Because one of the big things is 3d6 down the line, baby. That's right. You could roll Gucci. You could roll poorly. I have it there listed that if you roll poorly enough, then you get a reroll, of course. But if it's good enough, you got to stick with it. The important thing about all D&D, though, is that all D&D, it doesn't matter what your stats are. It's about the game that's presented. Like, you could run a game of 5th edition where you play, zeros across the board and all your stats, and it'll still work because, your DM, monkeys with the rest of the world, right? You don't need good stats. Everyone wants stats, but you don't need them. That's the beauty. I personally find more beauty in chumps overcoming and succeeding and getting more powerful than demigods, rising up to be gods. I find that the climb of 0 to hero is way better than the climb from semi-hero to hero. But hey, that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the children that are wrong. Maybe it is me. Right. What other things? I'm just going to have a whole bunch of other rolls ready to go. 2d6 /r space 2d6. Hmm. 3d6. That roll comes up quite enough. 3d6. 1d20. 1d20. Hmm. 2d20. Yeah. /r 2d20. And 2d20 doesn't come that much, actually. Alrighty. So, as I'm setting all this up, if you're not in my Discord already, let me give you a link to said Discord, because that is where the games are going to be hosted. And if you don't see the link in the chat, then you can always go to any of my individual videos, and it'll be in the link in the doobly-doo down below. I'm going to do 1d100. That's what I want. /r1d100. Let's go. That comes up a bit more frequently. In your absence, my D&D games have moved to Pathfinder 2e. I mean, hey, sometimes you got to move systems. I think the important thing is one, Craig, actually, this game that we're running is not actually 5e BT dubs. But I think it is important to search out and play different game systems, because if you only limit yourself to one game system, you become... I think you become less appreciative of what you have. So when you play multiple game systems, you can really latch on to, oh, hey, like, I really like that this game system can use this mechanic effectively. I really like how this game system can tell a story this way because of how the mechanics are presented. I love that stuff. Are we able to augment our prime requisites by taking the -2 non-primes, or is it truly 3d6 play? I'm leaning toward true 3d6 play is what I'm leaning toward. That's what I'm leaning toward right this millisecond. I want to keep it, I want to keep it true to the rolls, and I want to limit the min-maxing, as it were. I just want you to roll up your character, appreciate what you got, and move forward, and kick ass and take names. 3d20. 3d6, 2d6. What are the rolls? What are some big rolls here? Two. Um, 3D, 1, 2, 3. Let's go 4 die 20. And lastly, just a 5d20. And then the classic damage types. I gotta do D4, D6, slash R1, D4, 1d6, D6, 1d8, slash R1, D8, 1d10, slash R1, D10, and 1d12. 1d12 slash R1d12. Okay. Setting that up, all that fun jazz. Opacity. Alrighty. Let me grab the Documento here. I've got Guilds and Gargoyles. Because I'm going to be adding all the stuff that is not clear and present as of this current moment in time to the Discord as it needs to be pertained to. Trying to be all fancy with my writing here, or my speech here. Guilds and Gargoyles. Let's go on with that. So let's take a look at the Discord, shall we? Because how the game's going to be run is it's going to be ran through Roll20, pertaining to all the dice rolls and maps and all that fun jazz, character sheets. But all of the voice will be done through Discord in regards of, I'm going to be adding more chats, and the chats will be more pertinent to, either individual sessions or to, your guild and all that fun jazz, so you can communicate with your guild a bit more. Okay. So going down the line here is as follows. I've got all the character creation rules. Got it. As I plow through all this nonsense, playing the game. Done the character creation rules. Classes available. Got all the proficiencies and things up. Right? Yes, I do. It's all there in character creation. Good stuff. Next up, we have... Oh, and my apologies. My chat was not updating me. 100% with playing multiple systems. In my younger days, my friends and I played almost every game we could get our hands on. Heck yeah. Pizza rolls are pretty big. Shadow Dark and DCC are on my list to get and read. DCC is great in regards of wacky, zany, goofy nonsense. Shadow Dark is OSR splash new game systems. It's great. NFA, thanks for being the foundation for not one but two incredible campaigns. Finished TOA and almost done with Strahd. Couldn't have done it without you. No problem, Joey. That's why I did those, because I knew that there's a lot going on, and it's always good to have an open ear. And it's great to have someone just rattle off the game for you. Oh, I just realized you are now using green screen. I missed the couch and the background. Look, you want a little peek? Look at that. Oh, and mind you, it's not a green screen. It is a green bed sheet. I am way too poor to afford a green screen. Let me tell you. And we're both wearing pink shirts. Heck yeah, let's go pink. Pink is pimp. Hi, saw the stream and want to say thanks for your TOA coverage, helping me prep and ran at the start of 2024. Heck yeah, Dragon Pulp, that is dope to hear. TOA is my favoriteest adventure module ever of all time in human history, so I'm glad to hear that you're getting some love out of it. Alrighty, so going over, for those of you that are just new here, I am going over my West Marches game that is open to the public, free to join, free to play. Just show up, have fun, have a great time. Try and, do what you need to do. Okay, going over the Discord some more. Done the character creation stuff, session structure, so expectations of the game. So all of the playing the game stuff is good to go. The guilds, I have listed up all 10 of the guilds and all of their bonuses. I'm going to be expanding their fluff and lore some more as time progresses, but you don't need super duper deep lore in order to get the game running. Haha, it's the couch. TOA DMs unite. There are dozens of us, dozens. The unfortunate truth of the matter is, as time goes on, the back end of some of the adventure modules are going to be left in the wayside. But I do believe TOA stands the test of time. I'm going to be running that game system for many years to come, and not just in 5th edition. I'm going to be running it in other game systems. I've actually dabbled with it in old school essentials. So, great stuff. Dinner's ready. I have to leave. Have a great stream. Catch you next time. Catch you later, Craig. Catch you later. But yeah, TOA definitely, I think, of all the 5e modules, I think it absolutely stands out, and I think it's going to hold the test of time compared to many of the others, unfortunately. There is a lot of 5e adventure modules that do not review well, do not hold well. Alrighty, so with that, now moving on to the next thing. I'm also getting some emails, apparently. I got for the shout out here for all my lovely viewers. I actually just recently got a whole bunch of emails from people that want to sponsor me, so that's pretty cool. I did not think people were going to be throwing things at me, which is pretty dope. Which is pretty dopers. Alrighty. I had my TOA survivors actually get hired by Vlindra to go to Barovia and stop Strahd. Heck yeah. That's, just going from one clown fiesta to another. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, moving on to the next bit. What do I need to add to the Discord? Okay, so I've already done up all the guilds. You basically, when you create your character, you declare what guild you're going to be joining, and then through that guild, I'm going to be having more guild Discord chats in regards of, like, they're going to be locked off depending on what guild you are in, so you can communicate with your guild. Went right into Amber Temple post TOA and worked nicely. Several characters from Chris Strahd died, and they had just finished TOA, so it was an easy transition. It's great when this characters seamlessly move into the next adventure, and it just makes so much sense. Because sometimes there's like some adventures or like some circumstances where that just doesn't make any sense, but it's good when it works. Alrighty, something I have not added is the exploration rules. Okay, that's important to note. So how exploration works is, in this adventure, It is a hex. It is a hex grid. It is a. It is truly, a hex crawl. But the thing is I'm not dropping the map for y'all. Y'all got to figure that out yourselves. You guys are going to be exploring the world and finding this map. In BT Dubs, the world isn't like this expansive, massive, unending world. This is a enclosed environment in the bottom of a dungeon. You are in a massive dungeon. I watched all your Strahd videos. Very good advice, but I still sucked DMing Chris Strahd anyway. The Roost, I'll tell you something. You DM'd that game the best you possibly could at that time for the players you had and with the tools that you had. I think the unfortunate truth of the matter is you can DM for so long, or maybe even, whether you just start DMing or you've been DMing a long time, and just you think you've got it going on and it just doesn't happen. And I think a good analogy for this is being a DM is kind of like being a game developer. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you get thrown at the game. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much experience you have at that game. Sometimes you just produce something that isn't up to what you want that quality to be. And there wasn't much you could do about it. You thought it was going to work well. You thought things were going to be awesome. You thought this quest was good. You thought this NPC was great. You thought all these things, and just the plane didn't survive contact with the enemy. And mind you, the players are always the enemy. They players ruin everything, right? But in all seriousness, though, it definitely, no matter, you might think oh man, that sucked, but that is a good thing. It is truly a good thing to reflect back on. Oh, I ran it and it sucked. Because now you're going to take everything about what sucked about that adventure, about how you ran the game, about how you handled the scenarios, about all that fun stuff, and you are going to now make your future games better. It happens to me all the time. I run something and I'm like, oh man, I should have handled it differently. I should have put something else here. I should have done something. And then I improve and improve, slowly and inevitably, but surely, moving forward. The world is a vampire. Not everyone can be BLM or AI. As long as you're friends and you had fun, you did it right. True. That's the important part. Alrighty, so one of the big aspects of the game is that it is a hex crawl. You are exploring around this world, so I'll put this in a little bit, but basically you have X many points. You can travel around. That affects how long it takes for you to move around. If the party is slowed down for whatever reason, they're bogged down, someone's injured, you're carrying whatever, then the movement in the dungeon is going to be inevitably slower, and the slower you are, that means that you're more likely to bump into the creepy crawlies in the night. One of the big aspects of this West Marches game is going to be the party loot. As I have said before, all gold is evenly split. You show up with 5 homies, you get 100 gold, then all the 5 homies are getting 20 gold. But the unfortunate part, of course, is when there's individual items. You find the +1 sword, you find the potion, you find the suit of magical armor, and then there's multiple people that want that. How the heck do we do it? Well, it's simple. During that mission, you can use it if everyone agrees to it, but if everyone doesn't agree to it, then it goes in the party pack, and then when you get back to town, then you do a GDKP. And GDKP being a gold dragon kill point, i.e. it's essentially an auction. I know I personally have stuff I'll do better next time, like using sending for constant Strahd newsletters and SAS, reducing the amount of NPCs. I just added at least a dozen and more. Yeah, sometimes you add more and it's too much. Sometimes you don't add anything and it's too little. It's definitely a hard line sometimes. Some of my players are the worst, though. Some of my players will go out of the way to talk to an NPC, and then they'll be like, oh, who's that guy? And then I'm sitting there being like, I didn't want to add this NPC. Who is this NPC? And then sometimes I'll have an NPC all drawn up, and then they don't interact with them at all whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, great. I just wasted all my time, coming up with this NPC. Screw me. Alrighty, so I need to add that to the Discord. I need to add the definitely the loot stuff. I think that'll be an important thing there. Loot distribution, and I totally butchered the distribution. Gosh darn it. Distribution. Just like there's a lot of I's in distribution. It just looks funny. Alright, loot distribution, and let me make that chat so no one can type in it. Only me, only I'm allowed to type in it. Send messages. No one can send messages but me. My players took better notes than me too. Will retainers get a share of the gold, or how will that be handled? So, obviously, per like a typical adventuring group, how it would be is you would have it be, per rules as written, it would be if, you've got the 5 players and then player number 1 has 1 retainer, then the gold would be taken away from everyone else. And I've thought about this. When you're running a typical adventure, that's perfectly fine because, you are a consistent core group, and it's okay if, gold goes here and gold goes there. But the problem with a West Marches game is that is not the case. You guys, if I've got, 20, 30 people in this game, then it's pretty likely that you're not. And I know for a fact what will end up happening is you'll show up with a party of, let's say, 5 players, and then someone's like, I want to bring 4 retainers. And then you think to yourself, like, oh, man, we're all getting our gold lost to essentially what is 1 player. That's not cool. So ultimately, what my thought process behind that is gold will be split amongst the players, and then it is the player's job to split it amongst their retainers. Which does mean, it does essentially, air quote, punish you if you take some retainers, because that means that you will be getting less gold and you will be getting less XP. But the trade-off there is that your legacy lives on through your retainers. If you take, let's say you take, 2 retainers. What that essentially means is that you're getting half the gold natively. But what that ultimately means is that you will eventually have, everyone else might be leveling up a little bit faster and all that. But you, in particular, you might be, stronger because you've got more retainers. If it is the case where, you get to, let's say on average, a bunch of people are like level 3, and you're only level 2, but all of your retainers are level 1, then it's, then comparatively, you are, relatively strong, because if everyone else is level 3 about to hit level 4, but you're level 2 with 2 level 1s, then you've got numbers on your side. You've got options on your side. And that's ultimately the power of older school games, is not necessarily individual strength, but group strength. So I'm leaving that up to individual players. If you want retainers by your side, then that's cool. Fun beans. Good for you. It will lower the individual strength of the PC, but, your group will be stronger for it, right? So that's my 2 cents on that. Alrighty. Now I need to do party loot. Handling special cases. Alrighty, that should do it for that. Woot! I finally made it to the stream. How's it going, AD&D? How is it hanging? Talking about my West Marches thing. If you have not joined my Discord already and plan on, getting involved in the fun shenanigans, I am updating the Discord right now with more and more of the stuff, and then eventually I will be having people join and start rolling up some characters, because I want to see some sweet, sweet characters, baby. Alrighty, so that was that on loot. Next up. And gold. XP is pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to really go over that. Guild Quest. I'll cover that more when I update all that fun stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't need to bother with the exploration just yet. I can figure that out later. Social aspects of the game. Pretty simple stuff. Talked about this before, but essentially, you guys are a team. You're working together. There is no antagonism. I'm putting any sort of kibosh on any sort of foul play. You're not allowed to, trip other people's ankles. You're not allowed to mysteriously push them off to the side when they've got a ton of gold in their pockets. You're not allowed to do various PvP activities that will earn the ire of everyone, because you can do that at your own, private game where everyone, expects that level of debauchery. But this is a public game, and you're working with people you probably haven't worked with before, and you are going to continue working with them for some time. So it is a group environment. No funny business. Wow, sounds like no fun allowed. I'll tell you what, Pone, do you want to play in a game? Do you want to play in a game where at any given moment, at any given time, you've got a target painted on your back because, oh, hey, he's got the +1 sword. Oh, hey, he's got 1,000 gold in his pocket. I don't think you want to play in that game. Small pranks allowed. I will allow pranks so long as they are joyous and whimsical and are for the amusement of everyone at the table. I am not going to allow pranks that would hinder the progress of individual characters. I'm not going to allow pranks that would cause any sort of, death or injury or any sort of nonsense, because, once again, you don't want to play with people that are constantly targeting your back. You don't want to be in that environment. That is not a healthy environment to work in. It truly isn't. Like, for example, being like, I've played in one-shots before where, everyone is, like, got a hidden agenda, where everyone is trying to, stab everyone in the back. For a one-shot, it's great. Especially if there's, like, one or two people at the table who don't know that everyone else is being all backstabby. Like, that's great. But for an ongoing endeavor where you're trying to upgrade your character and improve yourself and trying to become more renowned and awesome and epic, it is not cool to have some random person show up and cut you. Sounds like I'll be free to make a covetous capitalist merchant character. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you want to join that merchants guild, and actually, like, I remember I double checked here, but I'm going to be looking at these guilds again. There is one guild I'm probably going to have to ultimately change up. Let me just click through all these, because I think the majority of them are balanced to exactly what I want them to, except for the Merchants Guild. I think the Merchants Guild's got something wrong with it. But let me just double check. Flaunting their wealth in front of everyone's eyes? Yeah, I do encourage that. If you are, depending on the character that you are, if you want to hoard gold, that's perfectly fine. But one thing I'm going to be encouraging through the course of gameplay is a way to spend your gold. Are you going to, increase your kit? Are you going to buy that special item that goes on sale? Are you going to participate in the GDKPs when someone finds an item and you want to bid for an item? Are you going to start creating, in like things in the dungeon? Are you going to start building things inside of town? I'm going to be expecting you to get that gold for a reason. Like you're going to be expected to be spending that gold to some capacity. And I want to see that, like because I want to have like a recap of like, okay, player A got 10,000 gold and they're going to be building a tower. Player B or group B in the guild, they want to build a bridge over that river and they're going to be doing all that. What days will the games be held? They will be held any day that I'm free to do so. That'll be Monday through Sunday through various times, and I'm going to be advertising for both North American time zones and European time zones. And I guess theoretically Asian time zones. I don't have too many Asian time zone viewers. I know for a fact there's a few Australians, so I'll run times for them as well. I guess actually Australia does have a pretty significant time zone as well. So I'm going to be running games all over the place to try and get as many people as possible. Alrighty, so looking through the guilds, if you join the Princess's Guards, you get a +1 to Strength and Charisma, you get Specialized Armor, you get a +1 to your critical hit die chance, i.e. meaning that you crit now, like if you have no other sort of funny shenanigans, you will now crit on a 19 through 20. Once per day, you can reroll a failed attack roll. You gain additional attack per round against enemies with fewer hit die than you, which is incredible because there is natively no multi-attack at all whatsoever. And lastly, immunity to charm effects, +2 bonus saving throws against death and poison. I think that's perfectly great. The Arcane Order, +1 to intelligence and wisdom. They get +1 free spell per level, +1 additional first level spell slot. They can impose a -1 to magical saves against foes. Gain additional spell slot of the highest level you can cast. And immunity to charm and sleep effects, +2 bonus saving throws against spells. I'm pretty tentative on the -1 to magical saves against foes. I'm going to put that as a maybe. XXX. 3 X's to denote that. The Mountain Shadows, +1 to Dex and Wiz, can purchase rumors. So I'm going to be putting up a list of what you can spend in town. One of the things you can buy is rumors. If you buy rumors, then that gives you some, insight on what's going on in the dungeon and in town. And if you join the Mountain Shadows, then you get a little bit of a discount on it. May attempt to pick locks twice before failure. Big one. If you for the importance of this, if you attempt to pick a lock and you fail that roll, then you are barred from ever opening it ever until you gain another level up. But with this, you essentially have a free reroll on that. Pretty big. Once per day, you can reroll a failed attack roll, +2 to AC while retreating from foes, and an advantage against non-magical traps, +2 saving throw against illusions. Cool stuff. The Light in the Darkness, +1 to Strength and Wiz. Additional domain spell per level. Cool stuff. +3 to healing effect once per day. So that's a big one. If you want to be a healing homie, then this is probably the go-to for that. Once per day, you can reroll a failed saving throw. Pretty huge. Retainers gain +1 loyalty and only require quarter pay. I'm going to be posting all this as well in regards to retainers, but retainers take half of the share. Ooh, I like that rule for purchasing rumors. Might have to steal that one. There you go. Retainers gain +1 loyalty and only require 1/4 pay. And advantage against disease and poison. +2 saving throw against undead effects. Cool stuff. The Wanderers. +1 to Dex and Con. +1 to range attack rolls. Once per day, can reroll a failed navigation check when you're navigating around the dungeon. You will have a head navigator of some repute. They make a roll, and hopefully you don't get lost. These people are better at finding their way around. +2 to movement points for the party. So as a reminder, there's these movement points to move around the dungeon, and these people allow your party to move significantly faster. Advantage on navigation checks, and then lastly, advantage against natural environmental hazards, +2 bonus saving throws against nature-based spells. Cool stuff. Merchants Guild, +1 to int and charisma, access to trade network that provides rare items. So basically, think essentially like Darkest Dungeon. Basically, like something will roll into town, and if you are Merchants Guild, then you get access to goodies that no one else gets access to. Cool stuff. 50% discount on all items. Once per day, can reroll a failed reaction roll. The reaction rolls are going to be more tied to interacting with peoples. Gain a trade route that provides a passive income of 200 GP per week. This is the one I'm more than likely going to change. So I'm definitely marking that up with triple X's there. I think that's a little bit too boring, and by the time you reach tier 5, I don't think 200 gold's actually going to be that good. So I'm more than willing to change that. I'm going to do some soul searching. I'm going to compare that to all the others and figure that out. Alchemist Consorption, +1 to int and whiz. Access to Alchemy Lab and rare ingredients are at 10% discount. So no one else can make potions except for these nerds. Once per day can reroll failed alchemy check. And then eventually you get a +1 to intelligence and wisdom again, which is interesting because most of the other peoples do not get +2 even more stats, but these people do. I think that's fair because these people are not warrior type people. They are alchemists. Makes sense. Gain the ability to create a rare potion once per week, and eventually immunity to poison, +2 to saving throw against disease effects. Now the Explorers League, +2 to Dex and Wiz, +2 languages. Once per day can reroll a failed exploration check. So an exploration check is when you're moving around the dungeon, that's navigation. But when you want to explore a specific hex, that is an exploration check. And obviously these people are a little bit better at it. +1 to initiative, a very big deal because this is a D6 initiative system. Very, very big deal. Gain an additional action during surprise rounds. So if you get the jump on the homies, on the enemies, then this is a very big deal. And immunity to fatigue, +2 bonus saving throws against traps and environmental hazards. Great, great stuff. Engineers Guild, +1 to Dex and Wiz. Access to black powder weapons. If you want a gun, this is the people to join. These people are the gun-toting people. They also, in addition to the +1 to Dex and Wiz, they also get a +2 to Int and Wiz. So a fun little spray of stats everywhere. They eventually gain a 4 in 6 chance of detecting and understanding construction designs. So if you're exploring around the dungeon, I'm saying, hey, you go across this room, and then you would think, why would they build that, that way? And then I tell you, the reason why they build it this way is because it leads to an area, or, they would design this because it's clearly trapped, or, whatever. -25% construction time on structures, very big deal. If you want to construct something and it would take, 4 weeks, instead it's only going to take 3. That's kind of a big deal. And immunity to fatigue, +2 bonus saving throws against traps and environmental hazards. And lastly, the Golden Order. +1 to strength and con, +1 weapon specialization, +1 hit die. So if you are a D8 class, then your hit die would go up to a D10. Pretty big, pretty substantial. I mean, that's it's funny. It's very substantial to go from a D6 to a D8 because D6s, feel really, really low. But the real big jump is the D8 to the D10. Like, that's a really, really big jump. Once per day can reroll failed death save, +1 martial combat talent, and immunity to paralysis. So basically, like, if you want to be a true hardcore martial, you're either joining the Princess Guard or you're joining the Golden Order. The Golden Order, or the Princess Guard, is definitely a bit more on the stoic, knightly, epic, badass feel. And the Golden Order is a bit more, bruiser, boxery type feel. So there's 2 I need to change up here. Let's... what was the one I marked it one before with XX. Where is that? Oh, impose -1 to magical saves. I don't like that as much. I think they're already getting too much in the way of spellcasting already. Oh, you know what? Actually, I got the perfect one. Once per day may make a con save to maintain spell. I really like that a lot. I think that's a bit more flavorful. As a friendly reminder in this game, basically how this game works is the turn, every single turn we reroll initiative, and I say at the beginning of the turn, okay, that spellcaster over there, they're casting a spell. Are any of you casting any spells? And if any players raise their hand and say, I'm casting a spell, then on your turn, you do not move, you can't swing, you can't do anything else. The only thing you can possibly do is cast that spell. But if you take damage after having declared that you cast a spell, then you do not cast the spell, you do not collect go, or you do not collect $200. You lose that spell. Simple as that. So giving them the chance to potentially maintain their spell is pretty good. Now the Merchants Guild one. This one's a little bit more tricky. And also, did I erase that X? Yes, I did. Now this one's a bit more tricky. So this is the Econ group. This is the group that they're buying things for cheaper. They're getting access to more rare things. They can re-roll a failed reaction roll. They eventually get big discounts. What the heck do I do with them? Because I was doing some mental math, and by the time you become a tier 5 in a faction, you'd probably be relatively high level. So 200 gold is like nothing. Let me just double check here. Let me check. I might even bump it up to 2,000 gold, honestly. I think that might be the case. Let me just double check, because I want to line up the numbers here. Guild dealings. Alrighty, so the guild advancement system is as follows. You start off. You could get access to a special shop instead. They already do get access to a special shop by the second tier. I wanted to make that very, very quick. Like, oh yeah, you're already good to go. So tier 1 to tier 2 is 20, and then tier 2 to 3 is 40. So you will have had to have gotten 60, 120, 200. You would have had to gotten 200 guild points. And mind you, these guild points, they're not cheap. Like they cost time, money, and effort. You are getting them from completing quest. You're getting them from donating gold. You're getting them for doing awesome deeds. So I think it's going to be 2,000 gold. I think that might be the case. You just get a flat out 2,000 gold. I'm still tentative on that. It may change in the future. I'll still keep the X's up there. Maybe make it a bit more exciting or jushy, but maybe tier 5 and 6 can unlock something that has a do with a bank or collecting dividends. Then it becomes passive income for the party. So the problem is though is that there is no party, as it were, because this is a I don't know how many people are going to be showing up to this thing. It could be 10, 20, 30, 40. Who knows? When I start posting up more about this and making videos on it, I'll hopefully get some more people. So there is no dedicated party. Now that being said, though, what I really, really hope to happen is I really want people to really dive into their guilds. Like when you roll up your character, you join the guild. I really want you to focus in, like talk with your other guild members and be like, oh, hey gang, we've got these guild quests up. Like what do we want to do here? What are we going to do as a guild? And then from there, then I want people to like that are representing their guild. Like let's say people join the Princess Guard and they say, oh yeah, like we want this accomplished, and then work with the other guilds. So like the some people join the Golden Order, some people join the Princess's Guard, and then they've got two separate, quests going on, and then they have to deliberate, okay, we'll help you with this quest if you help us with that quest. Oh, hey, we'll give you some money if you guys do our quest for you. I want that collaboration there. I really, really want that. I'm not going to force it. I can't demand that socialness. Not really, but I hope it's there because I really, really want the guilds to be a really fun part of the social dynamic of this game. So that means I need to update the things in the Discord here. Explore class, arcane order. Let's go. Alrighty, and then the other one is the merchants. I don't imagine the merchants being a popular guild per se, unless you're really, really thinking yourself oh man, I really want to focus in on the economy here. And actually, thinking back on that even more, actually, now I'm really thinking about it, I think to really focus in on the econ is, I want them to get a more passive income early on to really highlight that. So, I think I'll join if I play a Necromancer. Listen here. Of the 20 classes available, Necromancer isn't available just yet. But maybe you could earn it. So maybe what I'll do here is let me compare that to all the others here. You know what? Yeah, you know what? At tier 2, to really give it spicy here, access to trade order that provides rare items, plus 15% trade in value for goods. So, for example, if the group goes out, they find a gem that's worth 100 gold, then you got a merchant. The merchant drops it in. It's worth 115. I think that'll be a really great way to really highlight the value of the merchant, that they are able to get more gold right from the get-go. I'm so glad I came up with that. I'm so glad. Alrighty, I think that'll really help out the merchant. I really want to see non-combatty guilds do some stuff here. Alrighty. I'll probably try merchants if I go through a few characters. That's probably what it's gonna be, right? It's probably gonna be the case where you roll up the fighter. Let's be honest, you're joining one of if you're a fighter, you're more than likely gonna join the Princess Guard or the Golden Order, unless you become a ranged. You could be a gunslinging fighter, and then you could join the Engineers Guild, or you join the what do you call those things? The Wanderers here. They get a plus to range attack rolls. So if you want to go for the bow style build. One of the big things I'm doing with this game though is one of the real big things is the good old fashioned the martial class combat talents. If you are a martial class, then right from the get-go at level 1, you can immediately start speccing into the type of fighter that you are. And that, mind you, I say fighter, that these are available to all martial classes. So that's fighter, knight, paladin, elf. Let me take a look at Dwarf, elf, fighter, halfling. Halfling is a martial class. What else? What else? Surprise, surprise, barbarian. Who would have thought the barbarian would be a martial class? Um, Half elf, knight, paladin, ranger, and wood elf. So, half the classes are martials. So half of them have access to the class combat talents and thus can shake and move around what kind of playstyle they have. Whether they are more sword and board, big weapon, ranged. What kind of ranger are they? Are they a bow or are they a crossbow? One of the feats here actually lets you kind of become like a Roman. You get a precursor jab attack. I'll only join the Merchants Guild if I can wear a funny hat. The best guilds wear hats. Oh, you get the floppiest of all hats. You absolutely do. For reference, if you know Warhammer, like looking like the greatsword units, you absolutely would look like one of those guys. So, like for example, if you want to be a good old precursor attack. While armed with a thrown weapon, you can throw your weapon as part of your movement and draw a one-handed weapon. That's just a gimme attack right there. That's a pretty big one. Like that means that both in the same turn you can both throw a precursor and attack. That's pretty cool. Bro, I'm in. You talked me into it. Heck yeah. Looking at some of the other ones here. The main gouge, when fighting with a dagger in the offhand, you can gain a +1 to both to AC or attack rolls, your choice. You want to be a dual wielder. I think dual wielders need more love. Shield master, combat caller, defender. Defender's a huge one. I think defender might actually be bust, honestly. When a fighter is in melee with foe, any attacks that foe makes at characters other than the fighter are penalized at -2. And mind you, that's not like an active ability. That's not like you wasting your action. That's none of that. That is just straight up, you're in combat with the homies to your left and right. That is a -2 to their attack rolls. I might have to nerf that. that might be on the chopping block there. -2 is pretty freaking big, honestly. But we'll have to see. And mind you, over the course of your character's career, you can eventually get 3 of these. Mind you, level 1 obviously is pretty easy to obtain in this game. Level 5, you got to work for it, but level 10 is definitely going to take a little while to get there. For reference, if you're like a knight, to get to level 10 would require 400,000 experience. That's a lot. The defender skill sounds like the taunt from 4E Fighter. Yeah. Yeah. And man, I might have to nerf that, honestly. -2 is a pretty big one. I'll think about that. I'll see. I'll test it in play. If it is truly OP, then we'll get some nerfs halfway through. Deal with it. I'll offer everyone a refund if the nerf is too scary for some people. Yeah, no, it's pretty busted if memory serves correctly. It really depends, honestly. So spoiler alert. The first enemies that you're going to be fighting in this game are going to have like a plus either 0 or a +1 or at most a +2 to attacks. So in the beginning, -2 to attack, that's a pretty big deal. But eventually, the enemies are going to start be hitting a little bit better. You'll be going up against the +5s, +6s, So you will have to see. Alrighty, I think the Discord is pretty good to go. I don't really see what else I really need to put in there. other than the movement stuff. I guess I'll do them. I'll put in the exploration stuff right now. Actually, I'm curious. How does Discord handle grids like this? I'm about to find out right now. Can Discord handle grids? Exploration rules. What the? Delete this channel. No, I don't need to delete the channel. I can just move it. Alrighty. No, I need to change the permissions. That's what I need to do. Everyone can view it. No one can send messages. Let's go. Discord does not handle them great, unfortunately. That sucks. I'm gonna have to finagle with that. That does not come out pretty. Let's Discord. Basically, just going to involve me pressing the space bar a bunch, unfortunately. Is what it is. You know, I can't expect... Considering how great of a service Discord is for free, I cannot complain too much. Discord is legitimately one of the greatest, social, platforms to ever have existed. It is genuinely incredible how great the service is for free. Okay. You could screenshot and upload it to Discord. I could have done that, but now I'm already committed to pressing the spacebar a whole bunch. Gosh darn it, that was actually a smart idea, damn it. Dang it. Oh. Curse my hubris. I need to finish what I started. Now I'm going through all this, gosh darn it. How are we going to handle rolling dice? It'll be handled through Roll20. I've got a game up. I'm going to be posting that relatively shortly, and then I'll be allowing people to roll them bones. As a friendly reminder, this game is going to be 3d6 down the line. You can swap 2 of the stats, and that is that. There is no anything else of that nature. Of course, this game is... has the courtesy, though, that you join a guild immediately at level 1, and that guild will give you a +1 to 2 of your stats. So, depending on what you roll and what you want to play, there's probably a good thing to find there. Alrighty. Yeah, so let me see here, because I've got some other things I need to do around here in regards of the Roll20. I'm gonna have to be creating a bunch of character sheets natively. I'm gonna have to create a whole bunch of fun jazz there. PCs, quest, maps, rumors, news. What else? I think that's good for now. Oh, that is cool. Roll20 just put out a thing where when you create new characters, they automatically come with a token. They're just like a nameless blob token, but I do appreciate that they at least come with a token. And it's totally a riff of, it's totally a ripoff of the good old fashioned one from. Oh my god, there's another big Foundry. It's totally a ripoff of the Foundry token. Alrighty, as I set up some more stuff in the Roll20 there. I believe there was something I could do for rolling for stats. Show as token action. Does that work for all tokens? Yes, it does. Perfect. Alrighty, so when I invite you into the game and you get your character sheet, you can drag out your little token, and then you will have a button that rolls your 3d6 stats. Your stats will be down the line, and this is not 5e down the line where it goes, all the physicals and then all the mentals. No, this is down the line as in strength, intelligence, wisdom, dex, con, charisma. So it bounces between the two. Very interesting. Alrighty. Chat, remind me of anything else. Is there any gripes, concerns, moans, complaints? Is there anything of any particular substance, note, or value I need to do before I start trying to figure this out? Start letting you guys roll characters. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find if there's anything else. No necromancer, no dragon. Once again, not at the start, but you can potentially earn it. Gosh darn it. I'll have to go back and watch the stream to see if there's anything. I just joined the middle. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking around because I'm posting up the majority of the stuff in the Discord. There'll be stuff in the Roll20 as well. And then I will get started inviting people to the game. Let me actually pull through the Discord here through the chat because some people, I just noticed some people post some stuff in the Discord there. I'm just excited to start making characters since there's no expectation I need to min-max. I'm going to just have fun with it. Absolutely. I do not care about you min-maxing. This is 3d6 down the line. We're not shooting for the stars here. We're shooting for just no duds. So looking through the Discord here, clerics, Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, so you get to choose your spells. I'll allow that. You do not have to. You do not have to roll for your spell. I think allowing people to choose their spell is their own prerogative. Read magic is not a free spell. I think how spell selected, learn biggest blind spot. Yeah. So spellcasters choose their own spells. And then I'll put that in the rules as well, and then I will get started. Hello, sir. I'm honestly just jumping on to say thanks for all your ideas and walkthroughs and all the official D&D adventures. Good luck and stay safe. Thank you, Lazy DM. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, let's character important game rules here. Let's edit that. Hit points. And then Spellcaster's spells. You may choose which spells you wish at the beginning of the session. You must declare what spells you have prepared. I always misspell beginning. It is so consistent. Alrighty, I think, based on the official OC characters, alrighty, yeah, I think I'm pretty Gucci to let y'all come into the game. So for those of you that are watching right now, what I'm going to enforce is that you take a second when you join the game, and then I take your character. I give you your character sheet, and then what you're going to do is, I'll go ahead and actually pull this up here, is so let me try and not show off any other tabs here. Not that I've got anything to hide, of course, but you know. I'm going to have to check the schedule to see if I can join the game. Summer is my busy time in the office. Yeah, so I'm going to be running games all over the place. I'm going to be running games during the day, during the night, to get both Americans and Europeaners and Australians and things of that nature, because I want to get a whole bunch of people in. So what you'll notice here is when you join the game, I'm going to give you a character. And then when you click on that character, what's really cool is, I believe my OBS is covering it. It is, in fact. What's really cool is in the top left corner there, you'll get a button. And that button, as I zoom this in, and I also click on the token, it says rolling for stats. You literally, all you got to do is click it once. And just for posterity's sake here, let me be the first one to roll in this game here, just to show it off here. Rolling for stats, this theoretical first character would have an 8, 9, 18, 12, 9, 15. My God. My theoretical character that I'm not going to play because I'm the DM here would have an 18 wisdom. Pretty dope. 15 charisma. They'd have a 12 dex. I'm gonna roll out 6 characters just to get see if there's any averages here. 12, 6, 13, 10, 9, 16. Whoa, 14, 11, 13. Woo, 12, 13, 5. That's a really good character. But the problem with them is that they're uncharismatic AF. Woof, this is not a great character, but they do have a 13 dex, so that's not bad. This character's going places, 13, 10, 14, 7, 15, 7. The 15 con's actually pretty dope. And then this character is not great. Let me double check here. I have a listing here for how many points you are allowed to reroll at. So, like, looking through there, you saw the first character rolled 71 points in total, and then we got some dudders. We got some 53, 51 there. So, like, this 51 character isn't horrendous. What's their 3 stat? Their 3 is their dex. Oof, 3 dex is not great. 3 dex means you've got a -3 to AC. Ugh. So this character is pretty jank. I made a ruling earlier. Let me just double check here. Yeah, 50. So I might bump that up a little bit here. I might renege on that because 50 might not be enjoyable. Because like I'm looking at that 53 character and that also looks pretty haggard. So you know what? I'm gonna say 55. I'm gonna bump it up to 55 here. So let me do that in the Discord here. Character creation rules. Let me change that up here. Roll for stats. If you score 55 or less, you may reroll. You do not have to reroll, but if you get 55 or less, then you can reroll. Alrighty. Alrighty, so that was my theoretical first party of 6, and that actually looked like a pretty lean party. There wasn't too much strength in that party. The highest strength was 14, so it's only a +1. So not a strong boy party, but hey, they were a party nonetheless. Okay, so let me invite y'all to that game then, and then we can get some characters rolled up. Bump it up to 1 Bitcoin. Just signing up for Roll20 now. Heck yeah. I find Roll20 is a good repository for information because you can roll a whole bunch of dice, you can have a whole bunch of maps, you can have a whole bunch of things, and it's free. Invite players. Copy. Game invite here. And let me pin this message. Alrighty, for those of you in the Discord there, it is in the pinned message in the West March chat. If you join that, you can, in fact, get yourself into the game. And then I can, of course, give you your character sheet, and then we can see them rolls. Alrighty. Wexton, you're up. Wexton in all players can be controlled by Wexton. Alrighty, Wexton. And Mojo. Alrighty. Do I change my screen name to AD&E Card Master? You can. Entirely up to you. You can be whatever you want to be. Alrighty. All you got to do there is find your token, and in the top left corner you'll see a pop-up. You click it once, and you are stuck with those numbers for life. You are literally stuck with those numbers for life until your character is dead. How do I change my screen name? I believe you simply click on in the top right corner. There's a cog, and you simply click on that cog, and your display name pops up. You can change it to whatever. Don't see a pop-up, huh? You don't see the pop-up. Same don't see it. What is this nonsense? Let me finagle here. Macros. Show macro. Rolling for stats. Shows token action. Attributes and abilities. Monster, niche, retainer. Let's see here. Settings. So I guess I'd have to. I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna allow you guys to roll them. So I'm gonna post up what the what you gotta copy and paste in the thing is. So let me just grab it. I'll post it in the YouTube there, and then you can paste it here, and that'll be your roll. I'm in the middle of streaming, and it's telling me that I need to verify who I am. What? On YouTube? This is nonsense. Get out of here. Why would I need to verify who I am in the middle of a freaking stream? Are you kidding me? Playoffs? Oh my goodness. No end. It's telling me that I need to no end to the nonsense here. Was able to change your name. Let's go. Okay. Huh. Wexton, you must have Wexton, you must have you must have erased something. You erased one of the brackets. So just roll 3d6. Wexton. So your last roll here, Wexton, is going to be your charisma. There we go. You got 12 charisma. Okay, Wexton's already got a pretty juiced character. 12, 14, 14, 6, 12, 12. Meanwhile, AD&D has 9, 9, 14, 6, 11, 9. Okay. We're working with numbers here. So you guys now, in your character sheets there, you guys go to the journal and you can select your characters. I'll go ahead and rename yours Mojo to AD&D. And you plug in your numbers left to right there. So AD&D, you got a 9 strength, 9 int, 14 whiz, 6 dex, 11 con, 9 charisma. Meanwhile, Wexton is graced with a 12, 14, 14, 6, 12, 12. Good stuff. Good stuff. We're seeing positive numbers. We're seeing negative numbers. We're seeing a contrast here. We're seeing a blessing of of different character types here. I'm scared. You know what? You will be. You will be. So with your roles in mind, go ahead and check out what class calls to you. As a friendly reminder, I've got all the classes there in that Discord there. There is 20 classes to select from, ranging all the way from Acrobat all the way down to Wood Elf. Wood Elf being the last one. And then you will join your guild. Alrighty, Conrad, let me set you up with your character sheet. Let's go. All players and controlled by Conrad. So Conrad, let's see you roll them bones. What are we working with here? Whoops, I clicked the character maker. It's all good. I got your character. So Conrad, just copy and paste what I have there in that YouTube. And just simply enter it right here. And it'll auto-roll them 3d6 so we can see it. For all of us to see in its glory. Good old character rolling. Nothing gets the blood pumping by rolling some dice a few times. Woo! Conrad is stacked. Sorry, when you talked about character creation docs, did you say that was in the Discord? Yes. Yeah, in the Discord there is all those, in the Guilds and Gargoyles portion there. You can look through all that fun stuff. So look through the character creation rules, familiarize yourself with, the process here, what you get for being whatever class, and then look through the classes, of course. But Conrad, let's talk about those beautiful stats here. Conrad coming in natively with a 9 strength, 12 int, 15 whiz, 11 dex, 14 con, 10 charisma. As a friendly reminder, you are allowed to switch 2 of the stats. So you could put that 15 into strength and then have a 9 dex. You could, change anything around, any 2 of the stats you can swap. Entirely your prerogative. But Conrad already coming off with a decent start here. And as a friendly reminder, no matter what, once you figure out what class you want, that's going to dictate what guild you want, because those guilds are going to give you a +1 to 2 of your stats. So that is very worthwhile looking into. Oh boy. Oh, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice that I am willing to make. Anyone else join? Not yet. Okay. Can I put my stats in now and think about the ones I want to swap? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to need to join like 5 guilds to get most of my stats past 10. You are stuck to one guild. You are stuck in that guild for life. You cannot renege upon character creation. You are stuck to that guild forever and all the time. But nice try. But yeah, you can absolutely you can plug in your stats and then think, oh, I want to swap them later. What you cannot do is you cannot plug in your stats, then join the guild and then swap them. You would have to be done with your stat allocation before you join the guild. Because I know some people would try to min-max that stuff. No, not gonna happen here. Not happening. But I mean, looking through here, let's take a look. Wexton, you have you had some pretty solid stats, let's be honest here. 12, 14, 14, 6, 12, 12. You rolled another 12. So, I mean, you did pretty good, let's be honest here. As a reminder, your 6 is in your dexterity. You have a natively you added 12 strength, 14 int, 14 whiz, 6 dex, 12 con, and 12 charisma. Meanwhile, looking at AD&D here. Nines for days, 14 whiz, 6 dex, 11 con, 12 charisma. I'm trying to figure out what to pick so I don't die first quest. I mean, that entirely depends on, your playstyle, right? Like, what are you going to be? With what I will say with the minus dex is you're probably not going to want to be picking a shooting character. But, I mean, you're perfectly fine picking something else, like any sort of martial of any sort of repute. And also, very importantly, is you could also be a spellcaster of any repute. And, of course, you can swap to your stats, right? Like, you're not married to the minus, to the 6 in the dex. You could swap that with something else, should you desire. Pretty happy with these stats, not going to lie. Absolutely. Can I put up my stats and think about swap? Yeah. So, that's what's going on with AD&D. Frickin' Conrad coming in with a beautiful set of rolls here, though. Mamma mia. And as a reminder, is Meat Shield a race? I mean, dwarf, yeah. Dwarfs are kind of like meat shields, absolutely. Absolutely. Never played old school D&D. My dex is 6, -1. Is this -1 your modifier? Correct. So let me pull this up for you. In fact, actually, I need. Oh, that's what I was forgetting. I'm gonna put some other fun things here. Let me show you what's up with old school. So old school is not as punishing in regards to bad stats. So let me pull this up for you here. So here we can see how the stats are allocated is as follows. If you fall between 9 to 12, then it's a +0, which is the average. If you're on 3d6, on average, you're going to get a +0, which is not bad. Like, that's, if you have a +0, that's perfectly fine. And then you only hit the negatives when you get to 8 to 6. But then when you hit the 5 to 4, that's a -2. And then, of course, if you get the not-so-coveted 3, that is a -3. And then, of course, conversely, that works backwards. 13 to 15 is the +1s. 16 to 17 is the +2s. And the coveted, beautiful 18 is that +3. They all do different things. There is no dump stat, as it were, because all your stats do something of import. For strength, you, of course, that imparts on your attack rolls, your damage rolls, and opening doors. For your intelligence, that affects your literacy. Who cares about that? But that gives you extra languages. For your dexterity, that gives you a plus to your armor class. It gives you a plus to your range attacks and a plus to initiative. The charisma gives you access to more retainers, and they are more loyal. Your wisdom affects your magical saves, and your constitution affects your hit points. So pretty dope. All your stats do something of worthwhile or value no matter what class you are. Do we get extra stats as we level up? So natively, no. Natively, there is no capstone of, oh, I hit 4th level, get a plus to stats. That is, there is none of that. What there is 2 of the following, or 3 of the following, I should say. First off, depending on the guild that you join, you get the plus 1 to 2 stats. 2, over the course of the game, you will be finding things that increase your stats. So, for example, not spoilery here, but you might find an ancient scroll, and that scroll tells you how to get swole, and whoever uses that item gets a plus 1 to their strength, or a plus 2 to their strength. There will be items like that. However, conversely, 3, here's the big one. Your stats are a reflection of your total HP pool. In this game, when you get knocked down to 0 HP, and your punishment is as follows. If you get back up, then you will subtract 1 from a random stat. So it's not dead. It's not like true old school where when you hit 0 you're dead. We're not doing that here because that's a little bit too meat grindery for me, a little bit too likely. But if you hit 0 in a stat and you're still alive by then, when everything's all said and done, then you will lose 1 from a random stat. So I'm not truly vindictive in the whole 0 you're dead thing. That would be turning out a bit too much meat grindery for me. I think I'm gonna go dwarf and try to build something that's gonna resemble that tank, maybe fly landing on me. There you go. And what I will tell you is I'm going to be posting a bit of the fluff and lore of this adventure. But the fluff and lore of this adventure is that you're at the bottom of a dungeon that was created by dwarfs. So if that has any import to you, that is part of the game. Is you are at the bottom of a dungeon, and it was clearly made by dwarves, but it's a ruin. What are the rules for alignment? The simple rules is roll a d6, 1 or 2 your law, 3, 4 normal, 5, 6 chaos. Mind you, your alignment does not affect like if you're law, that doesn't mean you have to save the children and donate to the church every single time. And conversely, being chaotic does not mean that you have to stab the children and dangle food in front of the orphans. No, that simply means that over the great cosmos of the world and all the eons and whatever heavens above and hells below, that just means that you're aligned to one or the other. And all that statistically is going to mean is that there's certain items that will affect you. So hear what's going on. Perfect. If you can still hear me, what you want to do is on the far left, there is a dice. And that dice, let me can I show it on Roll20 or on the stream here? So on the stream here, there is a little dice thing on the far left. All you have to do is simply click it, and a whole bunch of things pop up, and you can just click on it. You can just go click on it like that. Boom. This is going to be fun. Now I get to think what I want to play. I have to go for now. See you later, Wexton. See you later. Alrighty. Alrighty. Whew. Let's take a look at some other things I've got going on. That is really dumb that in the middle of a stream they're trying to get me to verify who I am. Like, what is going on here? Like, what's the deal with this airline food? I'm just going to type in good for alignment. Sorry, I'm moving a bit. Also doing some paperwork at the office, as one does. That silly, pesky work and life getting in the way of fun times. Oh my god, I just spilled so much water on me. Ugh. That water sure goes down hard. Ugh. Gosh darn it, now my shorts are all wet. Whatever. Alrighty. And for those of you lurking in the chat, if you ever plan on joining, feel free to join now. I mean, no time better than the present, right? I'll also make an announcement here. Yeah, there's some other things I was gonna post up. It was gonna be the items and all that fun jazz. That's right. I was gonna be posting up those. Let me see if I can get those. I need to think of what class to play now that I have these bonker stats. I mean, yeah, that's the thing too. Is you not only have good stats, but once again, you can, if you so chose, you could flip some of those stats around. Like you could, that 15 doesn't have to be married to wisdom. That 15 could go anywhere else. So sky's the limit for you. I was thinking of a covetous dwarf, but I may go for the opposite and run a humble cleric. There you go. Entirely up to you. Let me. Token action. Yeah, I was gonna be looking at like the items and stuff. That's right. I recall now. What page is the Old School Essentials race info on so I can copy and paste it to the character sheet? Depends. Which? Oh, you're looking at Dwarf. Well, what I will say, the problem with like Old School Essentials is that it came out in I think there's been like 12 different iterations of it because it came out in multiple different books. It's always the same, by the way, so you don't have to worry about what edition you have. If it's Old School Essentials, it's literally all the same. It's just that it came out in so many different books that it's always on different pages and it's always, different. So let me see if I can find and copy it for you there. But I mean, it's in the Discord as well. In the Discord, if you go to classes, you just scroll up to find your particular class. What I will tell you is Dwarf is they can detect construction tricks on a 2 in 6 chance. They detect room traps on a 2 in 6 chance. They got infravision. They listen at doors, 2 in 6 chance. And at 9th level, you can create a stronghold. Pretty dope. And honestly, when you compare them to the fighter, like their saving throws are so good compared to a fighter. And they barely, the fighter takes 2,000 XP to level up. The dwarf takes 2,200 to level up. So like the dwarf is just really solid. Yeah, dwarves are just always go to. That's why I picked dwarf. It's like easy baby mode. There you go. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with dwarves, right? Like the dwarves are just a solid go-to, right? Infravision. You can detect traps occasionally, and you've got you can pretty much do everything a fighter can do. Pretty much. Like there's some things that like the fighter could use theoretically certain weapons that the dwarf couldn't, but other than that, I mean, it's solid. It's solid. Alrighty, alrighty. Let's take a look at what else. It's about to do something. I was about to. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm looking at like the items list and all that. That's right. Good stuff all around. I'm actually curious. Oh, there's something that I need to look up here. There's a couple of things I need to look up actually, but I mean, like, I mean, all when all said and done, I'm ready to start running some adventures here. It just basically needs new ability. New ability. What? Oh, that's right. I checked up there. There we go. So yeah, I mean, once I get start spreading the word out and get more people to roll up some characters, Dare Bear, let's go. Let's go, Dare Bear. Let me get that character up for you. Is it Bear? Yeah, it's Bear. Hi there. How's it going, Dare Bear? Dare Bear, you got a character sheet? You got some stats to roll. I'm not sure how much time I'll have, but I figured it'll be fun to roll a character. Hey, like I said, I'm going to be running games all over the place at different times, getting a whole bunch of different people in. It'll be a great time. So, copy and paste what's over there in that YouTubes. If you don't have it, let me copy and paste it again. And then you can roll them bones. We want to see the triumphs. We want to see all the characters getting rolled up because we can get some juicy ones here. Are we going to see a legend in the making? Or are we going to see... Hey-o, look at that. 10, 11, 7, 11, 13, 12. All around, solid. You got 1 plus 1, you got 1 minus 1. Perfectly mediocre. Well, the good thing is mediocre is good, right? Like plus zeros across the board means that you don't have negatives across the board, right? So natively you've got, minus to wisdom, but then a plus to con. Not bad. And as a reminder, you can swap any two of the stats should you desire. So you could put that 13 wherever you want, versus like you could swap it for, if you want a bit more strength, you want more int, whatever the case may be. But then, of course, the guild that you join is going to bump up some of your stats. So for example, your 12 could theoretically go up to a 13. And that 13, depending on which guild you join, will in fact impact your character. So maybe you purposely swap that 12 around to something else that you want to be, and then you take that guild, and whichever guild gives you the plus to whatever stat you want. Sky's the limit. How much running away can we do here? So basically, the idea behind running away is as follows. I don't want this to become a game where whenever any sort of problem arises, one player runs away. Because what ends up happening is you're essentially screwing over everyone else. So I don't want to hold the players at gunpoint and say, hey, you have to stay and fight, or, oh, you have to run away, like if one person runs away. I don't want that to be the case. But at the same time, do you want to play a game where one person notoriously runs away? My thought process here is play a game that's conducive where you are, part of the crew. You should stick together, don't split the party. Yeah, you don't want to split the party at all. You want to lead a cohesive group. So if it's definitely like you come across something and you're like, oh guys, we need to run, then like everyone runs, cool, right? But if it's definitely like the whole group is in agreement that they're gonna stick and fight except for one person, then there needs to be like a little give and take of like, okay, why do you feel like you need to run away, right? When everyone else feels so confident. So yeah, just like like if you get into an engagement and then like for you are adamant that like, okay, we need to get the heck out of here. Are people leaning more tanky or more squishy? I figure I can make something different from the majority. So far, no one's declared much. I mean, we've got so far the only person who's declared what class they are is we've got a dwarf, and dwarf is natively tanky. So, but the thing is, Dare Bear is I do in fact. I'm going to be inviting a lot of people to this. Like I've only like really expressed this through my Discord and through my little streams here, but I am going to be publishing it on my main channel, and I'm going to be, showing off to other people. So I'm hoping to get like, maybe hopefully like 30, 40, 50 people into this game. So you can play whatever the heck you want. Entirely your prerogative. But as I was saying before, so if you're playing with 4 players, the other 3 players are like, oh yeah, let's stick around and fight, and you're like, no, we need to run away. Then you need to like convince them. Like you need to make them see the light, right? And maybe if things go pear-shaped during the fight, then yeah, you should absolutely run away. But definitely, like, before the bad stuff happens, you need to get it the point across of like, okay, guys, here's why we need to run. Let me take you through this quick PowerPoint of, okay, the enemy is this big, and we have this much HP lost, and we don't have any spells. Definitely like make people see a reason is the best way to go about it. And also, let me take you over. Nameplate. C. So yeah, just pick whatever class you want, and if you haven't looked through the guilds, so depending on the archetype that you want, both your class and the guild are going to shape you. So like you can have two fighters have the exact same stat block, but depending on the guild that they join and the martial talent that they pick up at level 1, you're going to have very different fighters. So, you know, there's a bit of flavor and option here. This isn't like an old school game of you are a fighter, that's the end of story. No, there's a bit more nuance to it. You can definitely pick up some fun little features here and there. And of course, throughout the course of gameplay, you're going to be earning even more features through quests that you do and magical items that you pick up. Those are really going to shape up the kind of character that you are. I'll hit you up tomorrow if you're free to help out with the character creation. Absolutely. I'm going to be posting more about this, so feel free to do so. I'm going to be publishing it more in the Discord and through my channel and all that fun jazz. So take care, AD&D. So mixing, matching class and guild. If there's a magic user Princess Guard at tier 2, can they wear specialized armor? No. So that is tied to your like class. Like magic user can't wear armor. But that being said, if you want to be an armor toting person, a magical user of repute, then you would either be an elf or a gnome, I believe. So like gnomes, for example, yeah, gnomes can wear leather and shields, and so if you wanted to go down the magic using and armor route, then that could be the way to go. Oh, I see. That makes sense. Yeah, no problem. So this isn't set in any particular universe. This is in theoretically my universe. I just haven't done much with the universe. The real big draw of this like world or this campaign, of course, is that you're at the bottom of this mega dungeon, and the reason why you're at the bottom of this mega dungeon is because you were traveling along a road, like a big old stretch of road, and then all of a sudden you got teleported. Boom, you're at the bottom of the dungeon with everyone else. So the world building isn't, massive outside of the dungeon. There is world building, of course, in the dungeon. And I guess part of the world building is that in this world, there is no spell blades. No human spell blades, I should say. The only people that can both cast magic and, wrangle with in melee are non-humans. So I guess that would be the elves and the gnomes, and I guess that's it. But when it comes to being a pure caster, then of course the humans got it done. When it comes to being a pure melee, of course the humans got it done. Okay. But I mean, with those stats, I mean, you can pretty much be anything. I think the only like stat requirements for any classes is you got to have a 9 in them for whichever one. And clarification, you can be any class no matter how low your stats. You might get an XP penalty. No XP penalties. No XP penalties, no XP bonuses. Just any class. Well, any class that you have the stats for, I should say. So, like, for example, looking at Paladin, in order to be a Paladin, you must have a 9 Charisma. In order to be a Knight, you must have a 9 Con and 9 Dex. In order to be a half orc, you must have. There's no requirements. So whatever the requirements say on that tag block there in the classes is as follows. But I won't be doing any XP bonuses or XP negatives. It's funny, like looking at old school essentials. That's a system I'm using here. The worst is they require you a 9 in a stat. I've ran other game systems where it wants you to have high stats. Like I've ran Astonishing Swordsman, Source of Hyperborea. In that one, if you want to be a paladin, you have to have like a 15 charisma or something like that. Like you gotta have high stats for some of them. And I remember one of the classes required you to have, I think, a 11 in 3 stats. So there's definitely like some other game systems where they're like, oh yeah, you need stats. But in old school, no, 9. On 3d6 on average you're getting 9 anyway, so it's not really that terrible. So it could be a very unwise paladin? Yeah. Absolutely. What do you need wisdom for a paladin for? All you need is to have that sweet, sweet charisma. That's all you need. In fact, it's funny, like looking through like the paladin, like they're natively like supposed to be a strength build, but nothing going on about like needing strength. Only decision here is if I want the +1 to strength bonus or to con bonus. As a friendly reminder, when you join that guild, or if you're looking at like where you're trying to like swap your stat to, that might be the case. But when it comes to joining that guild, you get the +1 to both of those stats. So, like for example, if you join the Princess's Guard, here looking at the guilds, you join the Princess's Guard, you get a +1 to strength and charisma. Boom. But you might. But it sounds like you want to be swapping your. Sounds like you might want to be swapping either your 13 or your 12 to a different stat there. You got options. You got flexibility here. So for you, what the play might be is your play might be to swap your charisma over to your strength, and then you get the plus to strength and charisma, and that gives you a 13 in strength. That might be your play, because the 13, of course, giving the +1. Entirely your prerogative, though. Alternatively, you don't have to join the Princess Guard. You could join any of the other guilds should you desire. Entirely up to you. I like the idea of getting my charisma to 13 to give negotiating a chance, not to mention potentially more retainers. Yeah, 13 charisma is pretty big. It affects your retainers' loyalty, how many retainers you have, your interaction chance. I'm totally blanking on the word for the interaction roll here. Charisma. NPC reaction roll. So 13 charisma is not bad at all. So your play might be then if you're married to the con, if you're married to the charisma, then what that you might do is you might swap your con over to your strength if you want more strength. Entirely up to you. Just depends on what you want. But what I will say is I have been streaming for a little while, so I am going to wrap things up in 8 minutes. So if anyone's got any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, moans, or complaints, feel free to voice them now. I will be assisting everyone with character creation from here on out. Just ping me in the Discord, and I'll get around to it. And I'll be publishing videos about it and getting more people involved. And I think we'll have a lot of people showing up because I've already gotten some feelers from people expressing that they want to play in this game. And oh boy, are we going to get some people playing in this game? I feel like that extra 1 HP at low levels could be helpful. Yeah. And as a reminder, you start off with the max HP of your hit die. So as a paladin, you would start off with 8, and then plus 1. So 9 HP. Pretty freaking big. 9 HP would be solid Areno. And as a reminder, you don't need any one particular stat over the other. Like stats are always like, so, like all the stats are good for you, right? Even wisdom. Like the unfortunate thing about your character is, with a 7 wisdom, if you are hit by a magical saving throw, you have a -1 to that save. But other than that, I mean, just don't go up against any sort of spellcaster. It's that easy. It's funny, one of the big stats that about this game is Dex. Like Dex adding to Paladin have good saves anyway. Let me take a look. Dex is a big one because it affects your AC no matter what armor you wear, which is really dope. You're wearing plate armor and you have a plus to Dex. You get pretty decent saves. Yeah, Paladins do have good saves compared to like the fighter, for example. Let me take a look. They've got solid saves. Yeah, they're a whole like 2 greater than the fighter. Right off the get go, a paladin has a 10 saving throw in death. That's pretty solid. Or I could swap int and whizzed. Does int low have any penalties? Not terribly so. The low int, what that does for you is it negates your languages, which, languages will be useful in this campaign. I will tell you that. But if you have a 7 in intelligence, then you would be literate, or you would have a basic understanding of your language, and you would have no other languages. With no real hope of getting other languages. So you better pray that you don't have to, interact with people of other speaking languages. Maybe I'll keep the int to leverage the charisma and just suck up the save penalty. It's all up to you. And mind you, that's only against magical saves. So like a lot of the time it's like, if a save may not be, magic, right? Like there'll be plenty of times where a save is not induced by magic. So it's is what it is. But the real question is, what guild are you joining? Are you going to be joining the Princess's Guard? Or are you going to be looking at some of the other fine guilds floating around there? Like if you really want to lean into the health, then you could definitely join the Golden Order because they eventually get a +1 to their hit die. Are paladins automatically lawful? No, I don't believe so. No, you will roll your alignment. Princess Guard for that bonus charisma. Yeah, Princess Guard is definitely like the classic, like, I definitely see like a lot of knights and paladins joining that guild in particular. I mean, like it's just solid, right? Plus charisma, plus strength, specialized armor. You eventually get to attack like multiple times. It's great stuff. Do I adjust my stats manually or do I have to auto script? Nope, it does it for you manually. It like right there you see when you put in the 7, it puts a -1 next to it. You put the 13, it does a +1 next to it. And then when you're inputting your weapons and armors and all that stuff, it'll proc all that stuff for you. Which, I mean, thankfully with a +0, that means that, you don't have to put anything in anyway because you already have a +0 to your attack or whatever, but is what it is. I meant for the guild choice. Oh yeah. For the guild choice, you'll have to put that in manually for sure. And then somewhere on your character sheet, you would just declare like what yeah you would just pump it through. Christian coming in. Let's see. Christian, I'm going to be leaving in 1 minute, but oh, look at that. Beautiful. 9. 7 int, what it is, 11 whiz, 13 dex, 15 content charisma. That is a solid character if I've ever saw one. I'll tell you what, that's no wizard in the making, but let me tell you, that is a solid anything else, right? That's a solid character. Like, if you don't adjust the stats around, that's already a +1 to your AC from the dex. That's already a plus to your con there. Really, really solid. Great stuff. Alrighty. Well, that was excellent to see. We've already gotten how many people showing up here, and this is just a small little, section of people that have joined this stream that have, made their characters. That's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm, once I get more feelers out there, I'm going to be having more and more people show up, and it'll be a great time. We'll have a whole bevy of people. I'll start posting up the games, and yeah, we'll be seeing wide variety of players showing up to the game. That'll be great. Alrighty, well, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so very much for everyone participating, for checking this out, for joining the Collective Combine. But I am heading out, so feel free to chat it up in the Discord there. Y'all know what's up. And I shall see you next time. Oh my god, I can't. What is going on? I can't end the stream. Oh, there we go.